Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of r/entitled People Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. My Karen sister is trying to steal my fiance. After that, my dad always sides with his girlfriend and her daughter. And after that, want it cheaper or not at all? Fine, have it your way. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen does not get to steal anyone's fiance. I know. Stuck with you like always, Reddit boy. So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. My Karen sister is trying to steal my fiance. I'm 24, female, and my sister, who's 23, had my nephew Joe during her first year in college. The father is absent in his life and only pays child support. She has always hated the idea of my nephew growing up without a father figure, and since our only brother is 17 and our dad passed 10 years ago, she dated recklessly for a while and introduced him to a bunch of dudes. 3 years ago, I met my now fiance, Gabriel, 28, male. He's really sweet and he adores my family. He's financially stable and is good with kids, has a bunch of nephews on his own, and comes from a good big family. We've decided to be child-free, and if something happens to my sister and a few of Gabe's siblings, we're meant to be their legal guardians. For the past year, my sister has grown comfortable with pushing Joe around Gabe. She always invites him to my nephew's activities, which is fine, but she acts as if Gabe were her guest and I'm his +1, not otherwise. Plus, my brother used to be the one who got invited, and he's not anymore. She asks Gabe to drive her and Joe to places, and my mom pointed out how they look like a family when he does it. She jokes about how much of a dad Gabriel is for Joe, and she had the audacity to ask him once if he was comfortable with adopting Joe, but she was drunk, so I'll give her that. Neither Gabe or I are comfortable with this. He doesn't know how to push it aside without hurting their feelings. My mom has told my sister countless times how this is inappropriate, but my sister always gets defensive and says that Joe chose him and is not her fault. Things blew up last weekend when Joe asked Gabriel if he could call him dad because mom said it was fine. My sister was looking at them with the biggest smile on her face, and I could notice how my mom and my brother were expecting his answer. Neither of them agree with it though. He sat Joe on his knee and kindly explained how he wasn't his dad or even a dad figure, that he was Aunt OP's soon-to-be husband, and that made him his favorite uncle. But even if he wasn't his dad, he would never leave him and they'll always be best friends. Joe, being the sweet kid he is, laughed and smiled and said that it was okay. Then he ran to the living room to play with something. I think the situation resolved itself okay, but my sister didn't like it and started to fight with us. My mom kept telling her to shut up, but she was saying things like, "What's wrong with you two? How can you say no to a little kid? He sees you as a father, so you should be proud of that." I had enough, and I told her that Gabriel wasn't Joe's dad and that she needed to stop acting as if he was, because it was honestly embarrassing. She called me a selfish jerk and said that I was jealous of her kid. I just rolled my eyes and we decided to leave after. She later sent me a text saying that it was best if we step out of Joe's life for a while, or we will end up confusing him because he doesn't understand that Gabriel is not his dad. But as far as I could see, he understood it pretty well. ETA. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that we are already Joe's legal guardians, but if something happens to my sister, and we hope it never does, we'll be taking care of him. Also, my sister is not right, I agree with that, but I doubt she's ever violent. Not the jerk. But you know that your sister wants your fiance, right? This right here. Sister is absolutely going to try to get fiance to dump OP if she hasn't already. OP. As far as I know, she's never tried something like that. Neither my mom, Gabriel, nor I think that my sister might be emotionally interested in him. She only wants him as my nephew's father, but I don't think she's in love with him or anything like that. I find it hard to believe she'd be pushing the dad angle without having any romantic interest in him. In any case, she could probably use some therapy to help with whatever issues she's dealing with. A normal person doesn't see their sister's fiance as a viable father for their kid. I don't find it too unbelievable. The kid is an excuse to get Gabriel to do stuff for her without needing to reciprocate in any way. Can you take us to the beach? It's for the kid. Can you help me with the bills? It's for the kid. Can you chip in for the kid's expensive holiday gifts, school supplies, whatever? I want to be seen as a great mom, but I don't want to pay for all this stuff myself. You're not doing it so I can spend more on me. You're doing it for the kid. If the sister can foster a relationship between Gabriel and Joe that makes Gabriel feel like he needs to step up for the fatherless kid, lest he feel oh so guilty, she can keep pushing and exploiting that. It'll be like getting child support from two men. And unlike the actual deadbeat father, Gabriel is around to babysit and drive her places, and all of those nice things. She's jealous of your life and wants to marry your fiancé and make him her kid's dad. She's weird, not the jerk. Distance yourselves. Not the jerk. If all your sister wants is a male role model in her son's life, then she should be happy with Uncle Gabriel. Given that she's pushing him to be dad so much, it sounds like your sister is trying to poach your fiancé. Next, she'll start asking him to sleep in the same room as her so Joe doesn't get confused. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her sister? Please let us know. Definitely the sister. Somebody get her some milk. My dad always sides with his girlfriend and her daughter. My parents split custody. It's pretty random. Some days I'm home and sometimes I'm by my dad's. I'm 15, female. Dad started dating Jane a while ago, maybe a year. She has a daughter, Mandy, that's 12 or 13. Then they started spending a lot of time at my dad's. They have their own apartment, but they're still always with him. The first time they stayed over when I was there, somehow Mandy ended up in my bed. Her mom has this cot/bed thing that she bought by my dad's for her, but somehow I woke up in the middle of the night and she was in my bed. I kicked her out. Then my dad and Jane said, that was mean, and I have a full anyway, so I should share. There's other stuff. I have a chair in my dad's living room I got for my gift. It's comfy, and when I move out, it'll go with me. Well, Mandy always wants to race for the chair. Even when I win the race, my dad makes me let her sit in it because they're guests. So I end up sitting on the floor because my dad has a recliner and Jane lays across the couch. So I stay in my room instead. My dad has tried to get me to come out of my room and be with them. But why when I have to sit on the floor like a dog? He keeps saying I'm being a difficult teenager. That's not it though. One time my mom and I went and did some stuff before she dropped me off. She had brought me a blanket that had my favorite team's logo on it. I was excited to sleep with it. Stupid, I know. So she let me take it to my dad's. My dad made me share it with Mandy because it wasn't fair that I got something and Mandy didn't. It's not just the blanket it's happened with. It's anything that I have to share. But if Mandy has something I'd like to use, he tells me it's hers, and if she doesn't want to let me use it, she doesn't have to. One time, Mandy was reading one of my books, and Jane and my dad started fighting. Jane wanted to leave, so Mandy wanted to take my book, but I said no, so she wouldn't leave. My dad yells at me to, just let her have it. They made up, so I got it back, but if they didn't, I would have lost one of my favorite books. My dad and I had plans to go ice fishing, just him and I, something we've done since I was 7. Well, he brought Jane and Mandy along. All they did was complain. It's too cold. Fish are gross. This is boring. So we left early. He said, sometimes you have to compromise. When I got home, I was mad. My mom was annoyed and called him, and they argued, and he talked to me and repeated his compromising crap. I was supposed to go back to his place a few days later, but decided I didn't want to go. I never even spent time with just him anymore, so what's the point in going there? I told my mom, and she said it was my choice. So we told him. He said, I'm just used to being an only child, and I can't be spoiled my whole life. And I can't run away whenever there's a problem. Well, since then, his family is trying to get me to go back too. Am I the jerk for not wanting to visit my dad anymore? Edit. Some people have said to go to family counseling. He won't do that. He put me in therapy a few years back because I wasn't doing my homework. Seriously, that's the reason. Then when my therapist started calling him out on his parenting, he didn't want to go anymore and my mom had to take me. My therapist even called him to try to talk to him and my dad ignored it. Not the jerk. Your dad is failing you as a parent. Go back, with your mom waiting, and pack up every important item you have at your dad's so that Mandy can't get her grubby little hands on your stuff. OP. That's what my mom wants to do too. Right now, he's holding my Switch and saying I'll only get it back when I come over to talk things out. He didn't buy it either. I did. Your father is displaying absolutely disgusting behavior. I'm so sorry for you. You shouldn't have to deal with this. Would you be open to going over to talk? To make it seem like you're cooperating so you can get your stuff back. Like, go over, talk, get the Switch back, and suddenly pack any other important items that he could hold over you. then get your mom to pick you up. OP. Haha, I'm sure he'd include Jane and Mandy in that talk. Similar stuff has happened before this. He blames me because my cousins don't like Mandy. Because I don't like her, they won't either. He had talks with me before with them literally right there. I can't tell him that I don't want them around when they're right there. That's kinda rude. If I were you, I'd insist that if they're present, your mom is too. You need a grown advocate who calls out adults on their BS so that your perspective isn't trampled over as just being a difficult teen. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her dad? Please let us know. Dad sounds like a sorry excuse for a father. He doesn't even deserve to have his daughter with the way he's treating her. Want it cheaper or not at all? Fine, have it your way. 2 years ago, I took 2 extremely expensive, the examination fee is very high, internationally recognized exams, and also spent tons on buying preparation books for them. I tried to buy these books secondhand from a website, but didn't find any buyers who were selling for a reasonable price. I might as well have bought new ones for the same price, and so I did. These books are priced insanely because of how important and expensive the exams are. Now, I didn't use these books much as they were very extensive and the exams were not really that difficult. After I cleared the exams, I wanted to sell my books as they were brand new, expensive, and I remembered how I was not able to procure these books secondhand for a reasonable price as a broke student earlier and wanted to help out someone else in the same position. So I put them up for sale at 40% of their original price. There were not many buyers as it was not the time of the year people give those exams. But I found one guy, let's call him Stingy B, who kept haggling incessantly and wanted an even lower price for the books. I brought it down to 25 to 30%, but he was still not satisfied. Kept telling me how it wasn't the right price and I would find no buyers for such an exorbitant price. I was not even worried about the price, honestly. I just wanted the books to be used by someone else rather than be recycled or lie around my house for eternity, unread and unused. He told me to go find another buyer if I could for that price, and I seriously began considering just giving it to him for whatever he wanted. Luckily, a few days later, I found a buyer who agreed to buy the books for only 35% of the original price, and I immediately sealed the deal. There was minimal bargaining, and the girl was really nice and thankful. Stingy B now texts me and asks if I came to my senses and would like to give him the books for almost free, and I inform him that I found another buyer and have sealed the deal at 35%. He then starts pleading with me and begging me to consider, and how he will really need those books and how they're so expensive in the market. Yeah, no duh. Says that he will pay 30% the price. I told him I'm already getting more than that for them and have given my word. He keeps begging me to reconsider and matches the price I was getting. Stingy B didn't even try to beat the price or give me any incentive to go back on my word to the other girl. I simply told him I would let him know if anything changed and removed my sale ad on the website. Am I the jerk for refusing to pay my brother-in-law for babysitting my daughter? I, 34 years old, have a 5-year-old daughter. My wife has passed on, and my in-laws are my only supporters. Some days ago, I had an appointment with the dentist, and the babysitter who was supposed to watch my daughter called and canceled. I didn't know what to do, so I called my brother-in-law asking if he was willing to watch his niece till I get back from the appointment. He said he wasn't sure since he had a couple of tutoring sessions to get done. I told him to skip and drop my daughter off at his apartment, then left. When I came back to pick her up in the evening, brother-in-law asked me to pay him for watching my daughter for 4 hours. I was taken aback and asked if he was serious. He reminded me that he had 2 tutoring sessions that he had to cancel last minute, and since I pushed him to stay with my daughter and watch her, then I need to pay him. I refused and said he was being somewhat greedy and an opportunist to even think sitting his niece would grant him easy money. He said it wasn't easy money, but time wasted in his very busy schedule. We had an argument and I left with my daughter. He called my in-laws who said that he was in the right and I should have paid him for his time and appreciated his efforts. I told them I didn't expect him to ask for money, but they said it's what I do with babysitters. Well, yes, but he's family, and last thing I expect from him is to ask for money for staying with his niece. Besides that, I had an emergency and couldn't miss the appointment knowing how hard it is to get another one. He's still insisting on being paid, and I keep refusing. At this rate, I think he's being ridiculous, but I don't know. It all seems to be a misunderstanding. Say I did pay him. This would set the precedence for him to keep expecting money every time. Am I the jerk for not paying him? I forced my brother-in-law to cancel 2 tutoring sessions, losing him money to make him watch my kid. Then, instead of offering to cover the money he lost, I refused because family equals free labor. Even when you inconvenience them, fixed it for you. You're the jerk. If I were him, I'd never sit for you again. You forgot to add, my babysitter who I was going to pay canceled. OP, you're the jerk in a way you will regret. Now your brother-in-law won't be available as a backup in emergencies in the future, and you will be all out of luck. You're the jerk. He said he couldn't watch her. You dumped her on him anyway. He had to cancel paid work. He's not trying to profit from you. He's trying to recoup his losses. Accusing the brother-in-law of being greedy and an opportunist when this man is out here trying to force other people to miss out on work and provide him with free labor? Yikes. You're the jerk. Arranging priorities. Read a story that reminded me of this instance. I'd been with my team for a number of years at this point, so I knew how to manage my workflow and priorities to keep our customers happy. We had one annoying customer, though, who would constantly pressure us to give them top priority at all times, even though their orders rarely warranted it. Enter our new manager, Portia. Portia had the bad habit of listening to everybody but my team. If someone outside the team, like a customer, a different team, or manager of a different department asked Portia to change how our team worked, Portia would immediately agree to it, without considering the impact it would have on our workflow. Naturally, when an annoying customer asked Portia to make their orders top priority, Portia agreed. We protested, Portia ignored us, and annoying customers' orders were made top priority, even when they didn't need to be. Portia spent a few weeks constantly reminding us that annoying customer had top priority now, while we scrambled to adjust to our new workflow. Annoying customer gave us a lot of grunt work to do, and now that their grunt work was now top priority, all other customers' top priority work was being delayed. All this without a significant improvement on the annoying customer's orders due to the volumes involved. A few weeks more, and our other customers are becoming upset over the delays, and we can't tell them why. Portia comes by my desk with an order from one of our unhappy customers and tells me, "This order is top priority." And I can't help but snark, "I thought annoying customers' orders were top priority." Totally missing my sarcasm, she pompous proclaims, "All the orders are top priority," as if to encourage me to give my job 110%. I smirk. "Everything's top priority? You got it, boss." Why a smirk? Because when everything has the same top priority, then nothing has top priority, and my team happily goes back to properly managing our workflow and priorities again. The other customers stop complaining about delays, and annoying customer continues to insist they get top priority for all their orders, because of course they do. But we can go back to ignoring their unreasonable request. You want to report me to the police? I can do the same. This took place in Germany, relevant because of laws regarding taxes. A few weeks ago, my boyfriend and I were on our way home from an appointment and were quite hungry. We knew that about 10 friends would come to visit us this evening, so we decided to pick up some pizza for everyone on our way home. I quickly Googled a nice pizza place and ordered 10 pizzas and 3 salads. Guy on the phone said it'll be ready in 10 minutes, which was perfect given it would take us roughly 15 to 20 minutes to drive there. We arrived and I went inside when the guy behind the counter says he has no order under my name. I checked my phone and realized I called a pizza place with the same name in a town 5 hours away. I asked the guy behind the counter if it's possible to make my order, and he tells me it would take 15 minutes, so I went to wait outside. I was just about to call the other pizza place I wrongfully ordered at when my phone already rang. Lo and behold, it was the owner of the other pizza place, and he was furious. Asked where I was. It was now 25 minutes after I initially ordered, and if I'm going to pick up my order anytime soon. I explained my mistake, that I ordered at the wrong restaurant. I said that I will pay for the pizzas he prepared, given it was my stupid fault I called the wrong restaurant, if he can send me an invoice. As soon as I hang up the phone, our order, at the place we were, was ready and we drive home. Problem is, on our way home from there you have no signal. It's through dense forest with no phone service available and takes about 25 minutes. By the time I got signal again, the guy had sent me a bank account number and a price. This is when things started to seem off. I paid about 100 euros for 10 pizzas and 3 salads only 30 minutes earlier, the exact same order I placed at the wrong pizza place. But the guy from the wrong pizza place only wanted 36 euros. for 10 pizzas and 3 salads. Additionally to this message, I also got 5 messages threatening me to call the police if I don't pay. Remember, I had no signal on the way home and planned to do it ASAP when I got home. He also didn't do a legit invoice, so I went on the pizza place's website and checked if this is the restaurant's bank account number. In Germany, every business needs his own tax identification number and bank account number, and it has to be accessible by the public. If a business gets paid money for their services and doesn't properly declare it, they can get fined a huge amount of money for it. Not to my surprise, he gave me his private bank account number because he wanted to pocket the money for himself and to not pay taxes for it. I message him back saying I will pay if he gives me the right bank account number and a legit invoice for it. Cue him getting furious and calling the police saying that I'm not paying him. They call to question me and I tell them he's trying to commit fraud. Long story short, I paid the price for my order to the right bank account and the pizza place was fined so much they went bankrupt because after my report, they found at least a dozen other charges against him. Am I the jerk for telling my mother-in-law that she will never see my kid? Not really my mother-in-law, but girlfriend's mom seems like a mouthful. My girlfriend, Ella, and I have been together for almost 4 years now, and we are expecting our first child later on this year. Ella is 5 months pregnant. As much as I love Ella, I cannot stand her family, especially her mother. From the stories I've heard and from my own experiences with her mother seems to be an extremely disrespectful person. Because of her attitude, Ella has significantly cut contact with most of her family. We also didn't really tell them that we were pregnant. They found out through Ella's cousin. Upon hearing about Ella's pregnancy, Ella's mom has been pestering us about inviting us to dinner to congratulate and celebrate our growing family. It's a nice gesture, but I was hesitant to accept because of the way that she and the rest of Ella's family usually act. After almost a month of ignoring the invitation, Ella convinced me to take her up on it. The dinner was held at this very expensive, very fancy, fine dining restaurant. At first, to my shock, the dinner was going well. Ella's mom apologized for her past behavior and stated that she wanted to be a good grandmother moving forward. Her sister also offered support in the form of babysitting, old baby clothes, etc. The conversation was friendly, and I was very surprised to not hear anything insulting from Ella's mom directed at Ella. When Ella stepped out to use the washroom, Ella's sister made a comment about her supposed weight gain and offered me diet plans and an exercise regimen to prevent her from getting too big. Her mom also pitched in about Ella's greedy eating habits. Just to be clear, my girlfriend isn't big. She's very tall and lanky, and even if she was big, their comments would still be unacceptable. Ella's mom and sister also asked me to not tell Ella about our conversation because she's apparently too sensitive. At this point, I wanted to leave. Once Ella came back, I announced that I wanted to leave the dinner early. Her family was surprised and asked me why, and I responded that I didn't see them fit to see my kid and I wouldn't want to see them ever again. I was probably very impolite, but in the moment I didn't care. Her mom was very upset, almost yelling in the restaurant about how I couldn't leave without paying their bill, as I was the man of the table, and how I couldn't make husband's demands as a boyfriend. I can't forbid the grandmother from seeing her grandchild because I'm not a true family. Again, I didn't care and I left with Ella. I later found out that Ella's mom's card declined and they were forced to phone a friend to bring some money. Very embarrassing. Ella thinks that I could have been less harsh because now her sister is spreading rumors about her to the family. Not the jerk. So wait, Ella's family invited you to a swanky dinner, expected you to cover everyone's tab, and had zero backup plan for if you declined? Never mind the insulting Ella behind her back drama. That alone makes them the jerks. Continue to ignore them and focus on getting Ella on the same page with you about what role they're going to be allowed to have in the kid's life and how to draw boundaries, because it doesn't sound like she fully realizes how messed up all of this is yet. OP. I think the saddest part about this whole situation is that Ella didn't really react after I told her what they had said about her. Her reaction was more like, "Oh, they're doing this again," as if she's heard it a million times before. All this to say, I think deep down she understands how messed up the situation is. I think she just has a hope that they would change. She's desensitized to it because she's used to this. I mean this in the nicest way. Your girlfriend needs therapy. It's going to help her understand everything a lot more if she gets an unbiased professional opinion, because the way her family acts is disgusting and not normal, and she needs to know that. I'm glad you had her back. Good on you, OP. Not the jerk. So she invites you to dinner and then expects you to pay? That's rich. Sounds like Karma also joined that dinner party. Am I the jerk for telling my nephew the truth and not giving my brother a chance? My nephew, Jamie, 17, male, is in trouble with his dad, my brother, and stepmom because he locked himself in his room and left his stepsisters, who are 13 and 9, alone even though he was supposed to watch them. He's currently not allowed to drive his car unless his sister wants to go somewhere, hang out with friends, and my brother even took some of his things, clothes and jewelry that his mother made. Background info. Jamie's mother used to design clothes and make jewelry ever since she was a teenager. It wasn't her job, but a hobby, and she honestly made some pretty neat stuff. After she passed, Jamie took the things and even wears the jewelry. He wears some clothes, but most of them are for women and girls, and he's too tall for them. When I asked my brother why in the world he took those things, he said his wife said it'll make him understand consequences better or something, I don't know. He also said he'd give the things back after his punishment was over. Anyways, my brother told me that his wife gave away most of the things to her friends and family. Some things were even completely ruined by the girls. I honestly freaked out. Jamie adores his mother's creations, and now he has nothing but maybe 2 rings and a necklace. Almost 20 years worth of things gone in a month. I was horrified and heartbroken. My brother basically called me because Jamie has been asking for the things back and he doesn't know what to do. I told him to buzz off and texted Jamie immediately and informed him of what had happened. He was upset but thankful. About 2 hours later, my brother showed up at my house. He was in tears and asked me why I did that. He said I didn't even warn him, and now he's afraid that he won't be able to fix his relationship with Jamie. He called me for help to make things right, and I didn't even give him a chance to fix things. I told him that Jamie not talking to him was his own fault, and he said that wasn't the point. He insists I should have helped him get the things back. He called me a jerk and said that he hoped I was happy now. I don't think I'm the jerk, because if these were my things, I'd want to know. Jamie even said he appreciated it. And again, my brother honestly deserves this, but I do see his point, and his wife and our parents think I'm in the wrong as well. Edit. My brother / his wife are obviously jerks for the whole situation. Nobody's questioning that. I'm asking if I'm the jerk for telling my nephew what happened without giving my brother a chance to explain or fix things. Not the jerk. First of all, Jamie is 17, not 7. He absolutely has the right to know what's going on. Second, I absolutely hate the idea of parents forcing their older kids to care for the younger ones. Take care of your own darn things. Giving away his late mother's stuff is evil stepmother in the movie stuff. That's not right. If it were me, I'd offer to hold on to what's left until he moves out so this doesn't happen again. Your brother needs to accept the consequences of his own behavior. If he believed his kid had to do that to that extent, he has no right to say he shouldn't have had to deal with them. OP. No, because I had to take a few minutes to process everything when my brother told me what happened, because it's honestly such a cruel thing to do. I thought he was joking at first, because what the heck? Who does that stuff? I still haven't gotten a clear answer as to why she just gave those things away. Tell your brother clearly that this isn't your fault his relationship with Jamie has soured. It's his own fault and his wife's fault, and he cannot fix the damage he did. They can only hope to earn the right to make up for it. Jamie may be no contact in less than a year. My pregnant ex, Karen, demands money from me. My ex, 25 female, and I, 27 male, were together about 6 months, but during that time, we were free to see other people. Things weren't working out, so we broke up. Over a month after that, she finds out she's pregnant and tells me the baby is mine. But I already knew she was seeing other guys, so it was also possible the baby isn't. She got mad that I was having my doubts, but I said if we got a paternity test and it showed I'm the dad, then yeah, I'll 100% be involved. My ex didn't want that, and she'd rather wait until after the baby is born to get a test done, so I said that's fine, it's her choice, but I won't get myself involved unless I know the baby is mine. Like I already know, I could be set up for child support if I start helping out now, and then later it's revealed I'm not the father. I live in the US and have heard this stuff happens a lot. I'd rather not even risk it, you know? She's about 8 months now, and I have started saving up money, reading up some books, making shopping cart lists of baby clothes and furniture to buy in case I am the father. So it's not like I'm not preparing for this at all. So right now, money is tight with her since I know she's only working part-time. She doesn't have the money for a baby bassinet or clothes because she practically lives paycheck to paycheck. She started asking to let her borrow money for baby stuff, but I've told her no. As far as I know, she doesn't have other family she's close to, and friends are the same as her with money. But I already said I'll start giving her money and helping out once I know her son is mine. Otherwise, I'd rather not get involved. I've even told her to reach out to the other guys who could also be the dads, but she said one is even more broke and the other she hasn't been able to contact. So for right now, seems like I'm the only one actually able to offer financial support. We have a couple mutual friends, and I'm getting crap from them because they know I have the money to help out. She could be the mom of my kid, so the least I could do is provide. They say they would if they had the money. Since I do have the means and this baby could be mine, I should already be helping. They have a point. The baby could be mine, and I'll be happy to help out once I know he is in fact mine. But everyone else is seeing it as I'm being too cold and inconsiderate. I don't think I am, but want to know what others believe. Am I the jerk?
Support our channel by joining as a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video.
Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.